going as far as Iniesta. Now Ronaldinho. Oh, it's a terrific goal. Wonderful, wonderful goal. Absolutely breathtaking. Ronaldinho. You just didn't see it coming. And in the flick. He's had a goal! He's scored a screamer! رونالدينيو يضع برشلونة على القمة على القمة على القمة صاحب القمة في هذه اللحظات هو رونالدينيو وليس نادي برشلونة هذا اللاعب يسجل كما يعترف بالتساوي Fantastyczna bramka Ronaldinho! Cóż za piękny gol! Brawa dla stojących! Oh my goodness! To cap it off, a thing of beauty and brilliance. Ronaldinho makes it 4-0.
As electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub, my friend. Absolutely breathtaking. He puts the Haitian voodoo rattle on this one when he finishes.
Magnificent goal from Ronaldinho. A real individual effort.
Time to
Thank you so much for watching Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, where we inspire Uganda. It's yet another edition of Sports Galore here on UBC on the 12th of June 2017. There is a lot that happened last week in the world of sports, including locally on our local sports, including basketball, rugby, the AFCON qualifiers. A lot of teams around countries around Africa registered wins, including Uganda against Cape Verde, Madagascar, Guinea, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia. A lot of teams did really register wins, and also some teams around Africa surprised us with defeats at home, including Cote d'Ivoire. So on our international sports, we do have the NBA Finals. Lewis Hamilton registering his win at the Canadian Grand Prix. Rafael Nadal becoming one of the greatest when it comes to the French Open, winning his 10th French Open on Sunday, the Under-20 World Cup that ended yesterday with England winning surprisingly against Venezuela in the finals. FIFA President Gianni Infantino back in Qatar hosting the 2022 World Cup, and of course Koscielny admits he's unsure if move to boyhood club Marseille will happen. All that in this edition of Sports Galore. I am your host, Alice Namatov. Otai and Santos are here. Gentlemen, who do I start with? Otai, how was your weekend?
Weekend was very good, I have to admit. Of course, the crowning was the game of yesterday. Uganda Cranes actually away to Cape Verde and going on to win that game by 1-0. That was the crowning of the weekend. But apart from that, I have to admit it was a very excellent weekend.
Okay, Santos, how's your weekend for you?
Yeah, it was not a good one. I started it badly, losing to Kenya in the rugby. Although it was good yesterday, we ended it well, but I started it in a bad way.
Okay, before we start talking about rugby, the Elgon Cup of the weekend, Uganda playing against Kenya and Uganda losing at home to Kenya. Of course, there is a return leg for that. But before we talk about that, we have the basketball league that's going on. Warriors winning 80-55 against Tomahawks, UPDF.
Yeah, the UPDF Tomahawks basically, to me, have not been very outstanding ever since they came down to play the top flight basketball league in Uganda. I think they were promoted into this league a couple of years ago, and them up against the Warriors, the Pemba Warriors, who have actually been in this league, won it once. I think for me it was more of what can I say? Experience is the factor that actually guaranteed the Warriors team to actually go down and collect the win over the Tomahawks over UPDF. So all in all, it was well preparations for the Pemba Warriors team compared to the Tomahawks over UPDF that actually resulted into a very good performance for the Warriors side against the Tomahawks over the weekend.
Warriors unbeaten 3 times this season?
Yeah, it's a very good run for them, I have to admit. It was last season where we did see teams like City Oilers beginning very, very well. Warriors, by the way, is a team that actually plays so well in regular season. Regular season, they play very well. Then during the playoff is when they actually switch off. So for the Warriors going on to win 3 games in a row so far, it's well known for the Warriors. They play very well regular season. Then in the playoffs is when actually their performance does slump down, and that's when they begin performing very poorly.
Okay, I was at a press conference last week at the Legends. You know Legends?
Yeah.
The rugby Cranes, the rugby team, the senior side were preparing to play against Kenya.
Yeah.
Elgon Cup, it ended on Saturday, 23-18. Kenya winning that tie. Of course, there is a return leg. Nalbro is investing 50 million in the team of the weekend. They're not huge sponsors like they used to be for the Cranes, but every now and then they come up with something to support the team. And the press conference, I think it was midweek around Wednesday, they did come up with about 50 million shillings. But of course, it was a disappointing game. Uganda lost against Kenya 23-18.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Kenya, it is a team that has been training and of course well facilitated. We are talking about a side, the Rugby Cranes, that has been actually training for two months no actually allowances, training allowances, and surprisingly, no meals. These are the boys who have been sacrificing themselves, actually themselves, using their money. So, to me, I think we were not prepared enough. That's why maybe we lost. Though, of course, when you compare Kenya and Uganda, in terms of rugby, I think Kenya is a little bit ahead of us. But we would have maybe tried one at home, that home advantage. But we couldn't make it simply because our boys were not ready, as in we didn't prepare enough.
Yeah,
Okay, issues with the team, the Ugandan team. Of course, we've had issues about salaries. The players are not well facilitated, but the crowd turned out in numbers to support the team.
Yeah, the crowd does not know what exactly is going up in the back room of Uganda rugby. Let me tell you, the word I can actually use right now is that whatever is going on in the back room or in the bedroom of rugby in Uganda is pathetic. It is a virus that actually is going to eat Uganda rugby slowly by slowly until it will appear
Before
on
we
the
were
face.
we were very proud of
Yes,
rugby
yes.
as one of the disciplines that has had thorough administration.
Yeah, that was then. But right now, rugby, as I speak right now, the administration has actually gone off. You can't believe there's a time the Uganda Cranes actually went and played. I think it was in Hong Kong, where they were in Hong Kong. Players complained of no allowances. Even when they came back home here, the food that they eat is very poor. Rugby players are eating plain rice. Plain rice. For a rugby player who actually puts his body online, you give him plain rice, chips. That is not the food that
The
a
rugby player
player
needs
should
to
be
eat,
eating.
yeah.
These are things that we don't want to come out and expose. But I read something that actually came out from one person that follows rugby very much about 2 weeks ago, even before the Elgon Cup. Let me even tell you what problem we had again. Now, these guys actually went and rented Pioneer buses to actually take these players to the hotel and to the pitch. The guys from Kenya began complaining, why do you hire for us Pioneer buses to bring us to the pitch and take us to the hotel? Pioneer buses.
Yeah,
It's as though
we should have a bus
go and
hired
hire
for us,
Costa, go and
ready
hire
there.
A good Costa,
Yeah.
hire a good Costa
Yes.
to take the players to the pitch and to the hotel.
Same
Why
thing,
Pioneer
same
with
thing,
plastic
Peter
seats?
Otai, that's happening. The She Cranes are preparing for Africa Championship. I think it's on from the 23rd next week to the 30th. Lugogo Arena. The players on Saturday were given 50,000 shillings to leave home, join camp.
It is like I said
50,000 Ugandan
before.
shillings.
You see, sports administration in this country has actually been taken very
And the
lightly.
Olympic Committee was happy to say they are going to facilitate, I think, Malawi, because Malawi is coming here to play friendlies with Uganda. So they will be happy to cater for accommodation for Malawi at Imperial Royal Hotel. But of course, they are not capable of looking after the Ugandan team. All they are saying is that they are catering for accommodation for the Ugandan team. The players are somewhere in Namugongo.
Like I said before, sports administration in this country has been taken very lightly. And I think some people need to go back to school in order to find out exactly how sport is administered and how sport is run in this country and on any other country. This is something that has actually been let go. There are people
Until
who
now,
believe-
the uniforms that the She Cranes players are going to wear has not been unveiled. They are still figuring out measurements for the team. Santos.
I don't know, but we have nothing to do. We shall only
It's 2
talk.
weeks away.
Even if we talk and
She-
talk, that's not a solution. The solution actually, we have to pray to God, because it is so embarrassing. You cannot believe it, but it is happening.
So you have Malawi, you have Namibia, you have Zambia. Lesotho said they are not coming. Kenya is not here. They are saying some funny excuses.
But at last, I have to credit the prayers for Uganda, because at last they have to represent and try, much as sometimes we lose, but at least these boys and girls do try. But maybe one day we shall change, or maybe one day we shall work as in these boys will improve, or the administration, these administrators will have to do things in the right time and maybe prepare enough. But all in all, the big problem is money. To me, they are given maybe some little money. They don't use it the way they are supposed to use it. They want to actually cater for their families, to work on themselves than the players or than the teams.
Okay, Peter Tai, when we are starting with football now, but before we start with the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, the campaign 2019 AFCON in Cameroon, we do have KCCA that are going to play Paida in the Uganda Cup finals.
Yeah, the Uganda Cup final will be played this week. That is on Thursday at the Betway Greenlight Stadium grounds. That is down in Arua. I believe that KCCA could be traveling to Arua possibly today to go and get ready and have a feel of that stadium, because they have been there before and they were beaten from there by Onduparaka, so they know exactly how that ground is. And for the Paida Black Angels, I think they're very much boosted at the home of the home advantage. Though they don't come from Arua, they come from Zombo, but of course it's West Nile. Most of the fans will actually be there to support the Paida Black Angels. I saw a message that actually came in from the PR team of KCCA, where they were actually urging their fans to travel with them. So my biggest worry is about the KCC footballers that could be very tired to actually even play the game in Arua. Footballers like Benjamin Ochan, who actually has been with the Cranes, that have not yet arrived in the country. Serukuma, who scored a goal yesterday. Derrick Nsibambi, Muleme, Wanyi, all were there to represent Uganda. Some of them played, some of them did not play. My biggest worry is the distance and fatigue, because these are footballers that actually arrived in Cape Verde late. Then they went straight, rested a while, played the game. After the game, they had to leave the hotel, go to the airport. They could be arriving in the country either today night or tomorrow morning. Then the KCC footballers have to travel to Arua, 7 hours in a bus to go and play in that final. So I do not know whether Mutebi will actually give some of this footballer time, because it's a final. You need a double.
You need the Uganda Cup.
Yes, you need these footballers to play. Serukuma has to play. The likes of Derrick Nsibambi.
Yeah.
Your goalkeeper Benjamin Ochan has been very outstanding. You need them in that match. Awanyi has to be there in that match to play. You need them. So my biggest problem that KCC will face will be fatigue. Remember, after playing against Paida Black Angels on Thursday, they have to travel to Nigeria to play Rivers United on Saturday.
So it has been a busy season for KCCA.
Yes, they will be tired.
They played again Club Africain not so long ago,
Yes.
and now it's the Uganda Cup finals, and some of the players already have been playing with the Cranes team away. So it's really busy for them, and going away up country, that's another busy day for them.
Yeah, true that, but it remains a big team. KCC have got very many players. Much as we might think about these big players, Ochan, Derrick Nsibambi, the players that are with the national team.
Yeah.
I understand they are arriving here in actually tomorrow morning, but that is 4 m here in Uganda. Tonight, I would say tonight, but you can as well say tomorrow morning, 4 m, meaning they can rest. Then on Tuesday they get actually tomorrow evening. They board the bus to Arua. It is hard, but a club like KCCA, they have got very many players. I like what Coach Mutebi and his technical team are doing. The process, the system of KCCA, they have got, I think, more than 30 players and who are capable. Last time we saw Aaron Okero coming in against Onduparaka. It is the game that put him on board. They have another player, actually a young boy called Nasasera. He's also a good boy. So to me, like you see Barcelona, like you see Real Madrid, any player who qualifies to be at Madrid, whether in second team or not, he deserves to play.
They can't be able
at
to
any
play
time.
Copa
He
del
deserves
Rey.
to no, at any time he deserves to play against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Because if you have got the qualities of qualifying to be in KCC club, you deserve to have any. Actually, you have the rights of representing KCC in any game. So we can as well see KCC using other players or side B and win against these Paida Black Angels. However, Paida Black Angels, there is a signal they have shown us. The signals are not good.
They have come a long way.
Actually
and
tortured the Chitende. To me, actually, Vipers, they dismantled them. I might
it was
say
1-0.
Yeah, because winning Chitende 1-0 at home, it is not a defeat. It is hammering you. Because Vipers, they have got
Yeah,
whatever
you're playing
they,
against Vipers, yeah.
These boys at Vipers, every win, they get more than 50,000. In Uganda, if a win is, if you win a game and they give you 50,000, that is much. How much does a player at Paida Black Angels get? I think the best is buying each commando, 1,000 or 2,000, or maybe it is not there.
Yeah.
So if they can come to Vipers, the whole stadium, the people, the fans are there. They win you 1-0. It is hammering you. Vipers, I think they have to organize themselves for the next year. But all in all, they have good players. Agau Rashid at Paida Black Angels. There is also another player called Marco. Those are the good players. Cases should be actually they have to be warned, because those boys are dangerous and they can cause some damages at any time.
So you think it's advantage Paida?
Yeah, Paida also have some
they're
problems.
Playing at home.
No, they have some problems. Actually, I read somewhere about 2 days ago, there were some issues about backroom issues. Who's responsible for what? So there is a slight disagreement that is currently eating into the backroom of Paida right about now ahead of the final, which to me is a little bit wrong. Such problems should not be coming right now when you're going to play your first final of a Uganda Cup. So those are some things that need to be sorted out. I think it's an element of maybe money, an element of who is supposed to run what. Those are some of the problems affecting Paida Black Angels for now. But like I said, advantage will be on Paida. They are playing in West Nile. The entire West Nile region will actually be supporting them that is on Thursday, which will be very nice. So it's now up to the Paida Black Angels, by the way, to actually show us that they are not in the final by mistake, but they actually were in the final to win the Uganda Cup. If they win the Uganda Cup on Thursday, they become the first team from West Nile to actually win the Uganda Cup.
Santos?
Yeah, I want to correct the way how big league teams are, are becoming stubborn, especially against big teams.
Yes.
Last year we had Ondu Paraka from Big League playing against Vipers from
in the
Super
finals,
League.
yeah.
Again today we are watching a game, rather this week we are watching a game from a side from a big league playing against the champions of Uganda. I think this is we have to give them a credit really. It means big league clubs are doing very, very well. That's maybe why that's why we see.
I was told that competition in big league is way competitive more than the Azam Premier League.
True.
That's true.
It's difficult to play. Proline felt the pressure when they were playing in big league.
Big league is very expensive. Like I always say, it's very expensive. There is no sponsor in the big league. When you're up in the Azam Uganda Premier League, you get money from Azam. Yeah. You're getting money from Azam. Every season there is money that comes from Azam. But in the big league, you have no sponsor. It's like a league that has actually been left there, abandoned. So it's like a bunch of street kids who are struggling to survive on their own. Yeah. That is the big league. There is no money that comes to you, even from FUFA. FUFA does not give in money to you to actually run the business of the big league. That's why I'm using the word. It's like a bunch of street kids who are surviving. But when the kind of impetus they get because of that muscle they work very hard in surviving is the one that actually makes them perform much better than some of the teams we are seeing in the Azam Uganda Premier League. That's why when a team comes from the from the big league, they normally get a little bit comfortable. It's like when you're surviving somewhere and you go to a
really
place,
rough, and
it's rough the other side. Then the conditions change.
Place.
You become so comfortable and you relax.
Yeah.
That's what happens to teams when they come from the big league and they come to the Azam Uganda Premier League. That's the reason why some of them go back.
Peter Otai, after getting away from the Uganda Cup, the Cranes were playing in Group L. Alongside Lesotho, Tanzania, Cape Verde, and Uganda. Surprisingly, many people did not think a match that was postponed from Saturday to Sunday, Uganda could turn out victorious. They won the game against Cape Verde 1-0. But besides Uganda's game, we do have a lot of other surprising wins around Africa. Madagascar winning. You have Guinea. There was a brace, I think, Banga scoring a brace against Angola. You have Zimbabwe that thumped yesterday. I think the game ended 3-0. And then you have Ghana.
Ghana beating Ethiopia 5.
Humiliated Ethiopia.
5.
Sierra
Leone actually beating Kenya 2-1.
Sierra Leone beating Kenya as well. So it was... Also, the other surprising game was Cote d'Ivoire losing their game 3-2 at home on Saturday. Yeah. So African football, whoever who is an African giant is not an African giant anymore.
That's true. There is no more respect, really. No more respect when it comes down to Ugandan football. Cape Verde Island, you're saying we play here. At once we are ranked #1 in Africa.
Yeah.
They were ranked #1
Yeah,
in Africa
yeah.
at one time.
I mean, there was a time when they had a good run.
Exactly. That's the time they were ranked #1 in Africa. It is one team that has actually been disturbing very many. But the performance of the Cranes yesterday was very
They
outstanding.
played as a unit.
Yeah, they did. They did. For a team that actually arrived late, because the game was supposed to be played on Thursday, like you say, it was pushed to Sunday. Sunday is when we played 8:30 p.m. Uganda time. Many maybe thought that this would be a loss for Uganda. But I had a feeling, in my guts, I had a feeling that this could be good for Uganda. The mere fact that the game has been pushed from Saturday to Sunday.
Geoffrey Serunkuma turning out to be I wouldn't say a replacement for Massa, but he is making people believe there is life without Massa.
Yeah, RC, what I want us to all believe, this is the real football. Check how many players played, who have been playing, and check the previous Cranes results. We have been losing away.
Yeah.
And the players we have been using, check
in fact,
here.
we had a norm
We-
of Cranes winning at home and no win whatsoever
And
away.
The reason you see the team, I think among the squad that started yesterday, it is only Mia Farouk who has not been playing. All these boys have been playing. Onyango has been playing regularly. Nicholas Wadad has been playing regularly. I mean, we are no longer now playing names. I want to credit Coach Mitchell 100%. Check how many players, nobody expected Derek Nsibambi to play. Derek Nsibambi, we had Isaac Mureme, we had Nicholas Wadada, all players who have been here in our local league playing very, very well. It means we are now really playing real football, players who deserve to play. We didn't have Dennis Iguma, we didn't have Tony Maweje, we didn't have Ruwaga Kizito, we didn't have
Geoffrey
Baba
Massa,
Kizito.
who retired
No,
as well.
that one is out,
Yeah.
because we are talking about
Players that are
who have
currently
been
on the
actually
team, yeah.
playing, but they don't have time to play.
Mitchell decided to leave out the old guns.
Most of the old guns actually retired. Tony Maweje, like the one he's talking about, actually retired from the national team and even failed to have a club. Actually, when the boys were playing in Cape Verde, Tony Maweje was here playing in MP Sewanyana's tournament. He had organized a tournament here in Kampala. That's where Tony Maweje was actually playing. Tony Maweje is in the country, by the way.
Yeah, he's getting a
he's
club.
failed to get a club. I know you're one of the agents there, so you will tell us that about. But Tony Maweje is a good player. I actually do fancy him very much. He's such a very good footballer. But it's because of lack of enough playing time. He has no club. He hasn't been fit. So he's trying very hard to look for a new club, maybe try and keep himself fit and come back into the league. That's the reason as why you're seeing that Mitchell did not go for some of these footballers who have not been active.
So 3 points for Uganda.
It's good.
Tanzania drew, I think, against
1-1.
Lesotho
Yes,
1-0.
1-1. I was actually discussing with one of the sports journalists, and he said Uganda has actually become the first country to qualify for Cameroon.
Yeah.
If we can only win the 3 games at home.
yes,
Because we already
yes.
collected 3 points away.
So you have
if we can
Lesotho,
win,
you have Cape Verde here at home, and then you have Tanzania
If we can
home
beat
and away.
Tanzania here, Lesotho here, Cape Verde here, we have qualified for Cameroon. So for me, I will always believe that the most difficult country in our Group L is
Cape
Tanzania.
Verde.
No, Cape Verde is no problem. I was sure we were winning those guys. Tanzania.
So Tanzania that drew at home against Lesotho.
Tanzania plays a different kind of game. Yes, they drew against Lesotho. Let's leave that. Remember, this is an East African derby. And normally the East African countries normally disturb us when we play. Yes, we beat Tanzania to qualify for CHAN. We beat them at their very own home. On that day, they fired their coach. But this is the senior team we are talking about. They play a different kind of football. For me, if I was Coach Mitchell, I would be very worried of our neighbor, Tanzania.
So Cote d'Ivoire losing 3-2 at home. Zimbabwe registering a good win. I think they won their game 3-0. And then you have Ghana that thumped Ethiopia, that showed them that East African teams, you're no matchup for us.
Yeah, true. It is becoming hard now for actually big teams, because I watched Zambia struggling. It was a disappointment, actually.
Yeah.
Because Zambia, To me, I think after Egypt Premier League, another developed league is now Zambia.
Zambia.
And it is taking over. But when you see Zambia struggling to get points, moreover at home, they must check themselves.
Remember,
But,
Zambia is going through a transition. They've had a lot of players that have retired off the national team. So it's not very difficult it's not easy to replace.
yeah, I understand, but the way how their
And
system...
the amount of expectation that has been weighing on the shoulders of those players since they won Africa Cup of Nations, it has been a lot.
Yeah, true. But if you can check the players, they have good players. Rainford, Karaba, those Sunzu, those are big players, big names. I did not expect what happened, moreover against Mozambique, but that is football for you.
Yeah.
It means whoever deserves to get points is getting points, not on maybe in pockets or what. But Kenya against Sierra Leone, that was a big game. On my Facebook page,
I think it ended 2-1.
yeah, on my Facebook page, I have a friend. He's a Kenyan friend. He was joking. He said, Ugandan professionals in Gor Mahia, Kenyan professionals in Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, they only have one in Tottenham Hotspur.
Wanyama.
So I don't know how he's feeling now, because for us, our professionals are in Gor Mahia, but
Yeah.
we won away.
Yes.
Then the ones who got prayers in Tottenham Hotspur,
Yeah.
they are suffering.
Yeah.
But I think the referee was not fair against the, Kenya, because that red card for Odiambo, well, I'm not a referee and I don't know the basics of the game more than them, but I think it wasn't, and maybe it affected the game. Ivory Coast at home losing, that was also another story, but I think they relaxed after scoring that goal from Said Doumbia. Then again, he doubled it after 48 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought they would have maybe maintained the win, but unfortunately they couldn't. Then another shocker was Nigeria at home.
Yeah,
South
against
Africa,
South
they have
Africa,
been
2-0.
struggling. I don't know how it was so embarrassing for Nigeria. Good players. They have this Arsenal young star boy. They have Kere Ihanacho. Those big players, Ahmed Musa. I never expected Nigeria to suffer at
Yeah,
home.
the problem with Nigeria is one. These guys will always
What
complain
Nigeria
of money.
did,
They will complain of
they-
money and allowances.
Yeah.
Before they actually played that game against South Africa, we are told that the coach, together with captain, went to meet the prime minister to discuss about
remember
money.
what happens with the Nigerian team. Victor Moses was not on the team. Another former Chelsea player was not
Mikel
called.
Obi.
Yeah, Mikel Obi was not called on the team. So they always have their issues every now and then.
It's Nigeria.
But
Anything can happen.
It shouldn't be money every time,
It's
because
money.
check,
It's
yeah, it is
money.
money now in Nigeria, but Cameroon, it is the team actually among the teams we know. Actually, Ugandan players might be earning more allowances than Cameroon.
Yeah.
But they have always been on sport. They are not actually. I got information from the inside source. Cameroon, they are even given $700 for a win, but they go on and win. So to me, Nigeria, that shouldn't be a very big reason, really. It is so bad, because it is actually not against the federation. It is against the players. You are Ahmed Musa, you play for Leicester City. This boy, Iwobi, you play for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Come and win, because
Because you paid more money at
yes,
club.
because I was watching an Arsenal fan actually on Twitter saying Pametasa, I think Mustafi scored for Germany. I think Sanchez scored for Chile. Then Xhaka scored for Switzerland. Then he was asking Pogba what those guys didn't score.
Yeah.
He was like, where were they?
Yeah.
So maybe he would have also added in maybe Iwobi.
Iwobi.
But unfortunately they did not. And let them lose at least 1-0. Those were very many
proper
goals.
2-0.
Yeah.
So we'll take a break, but when we return, we have a lot on our international sports, including the NBA playoffs that are going on at the moment, and of course the Canadian Grand Prix results from the Canadian Grand Prix, the World Cup, the Under-20 World Cup that ended yesterday, some news from the Qatar World Cup for 2022, and of course some news from Arsenal. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Myself, Otai, and Santos will be back shortly.
girl Aline.
This is Dr. Camille representing the Power Flavor.
Magazine, enough love. Boom, boom, boom.
Glory to Glory, a program that inspires you in music. Let your Sunday shine and rise with Glory to Glory. Enjoy the best of the music, inspiration, word of God, guidance, counseling, your gospel artist corner. Glory to Glory, enriching your soul. Enjoy Glory to Glory every Sunday early morning on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda. Catch a glimpse of the best music hits, ones and twos. Music for the moment right here on African Bank Express. Feel the groove.
You've got the hits. Roar.
Have you heard? It's loud.
Yeah, it's a smash. It's Semtex. It's a smash. Smash. It's a Semtex smash. Are you a party animal? Yes, I'm a party animal. Are you a party animal? Yes, I'm a party animal. Yeah. Are you a party animal? Yes, I'm a party animal. Are you a party animal? Yes, I'm a party animal. Party animal, awera mtunga muia. Lazaro wa mirimu, chariko kuweza lupia. Wazweza tazono, nataka bizini.
Knock off your Friday with the UG Dance Party, hosted by the one and only Slick. Every Friday,
You've got the hits.
Thank you for staying tuned to UBC, where we inspire Uganda. This is Sports Galore. I'm your host, Alice Namato. Peter Otai and Santos are here with me. We'll go straight to what we have on our international sports because we have a few minutes left. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Peter Otai, are still in it. It's 3-1. But of course, LeBron James and the team have gotten at least a consolation, so there is still some hope there.
It must be now 3-2, if I'm not very much mistaken. Before I actually came down for the show, the Cleveland Cavaliers were actually leading in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes to go.
The Golden Warriors.
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors were actually trailing. They were trailing. It was, I think, 120 to 109.
So we
might be having.
It's not going to be a washout.
No,
it's not a washout.
It's not a washout. If I'm not very much mistaken, it could be right now a 3-2 with the Golden State Warriors losing again 2 games in a row. But Golden State Warriors are known. They became the first club to actually give away a 3-0 win and lose the game 4-3. If you remember last season. So I hope it doesn't happen again this season. But it's game number 5 was played this morning. And by the time I actually, like I said, came into the studio, there were about 4 minutes to go, and the Golden State Warriors were trailing.
Okay, LeBron James, this hasn't been one of his best seasons.
You can say, but I think he has actually been very outstanding in the last couple of games. The playoffs, he was very, very, very outstanding. If you look at game number 1, he was the one who was actually shining mostly for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game number 2, he was also very outstanding.
And also the rumors around him that he's moving to another club, very unsettling for players and club.
Yeah, it will be very bad for him to leave. I think he has given his whole to the Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that he has actually had passion for. Because when he left his former team and joined the Cleveland Cavaliers, he gave them a medal, gave them a championship. So I think he has played very well for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So why not leave? I will actually support him to leave because ever since he moved from Miami Heat to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think he has been very outstanding for the Cavaliers.
Okay, these are the playoffs, the NBA playoffs in America. I think the most famous sport in the US.
In the US, the most famous sport basically is baseball.
American football.
No, baseball. Baseball is the #1 American pastime game. Yeah. That's baseball. Then you go to American football. Then of course basketball. Yeah. Basketball actually was run by the black community. Yeah. Are the ones who love basketball more. But of recent you realize that now the white,
seeing a lot of
the white community, white people are now coming through and loving the sport. That's why you see very many white boys also playing basketball. But basketball
the playoffs becoming a place for all sports celebrities from around the world coming to the finals,
to
the playoffs.
Yeah, we are off season in most of the leagues. Off season, you realize.
So you find Rihanna, you find Beyonce,
you find
Neymar, you find Hamilton. Everybody.
Yeah, you have to be there in order to show your love and support. It's #1 right now. Basketball, the playoffs are #1 sport right now because apart from the Under-20 World Cup that was followed mainly recent, this is being spoken about by everybody. Yeah, it's the in thing right now.
Okay, from basketball, those are the NBA highlights that we had over the weekend. Of course, the Cavaliers are trailing the Golden State Warriors 3-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But from that, we had the Canadian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel and Team Ferrari are on top of the championship. If it ends like this, of course, Ferrari will be back in things, but of course, the Formula One season has only begun. And for Lewis Hamilton in Canada, he's a darling, and indeed, he was on pole and won the Canadian Grand Prix.
Well, basically, there is a lot I can actually speak about when it comes down to the Canadian Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton was very outstanding. I think he needed this win to actually lift his spirits back into...
So McLaren is 12 points behind Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari.
Yeah, that's one thing you need to talk about. But all in all, I think Hamilton, together with his entire team, have to actually be blamed for the bad start over the season for Lewis Hamilton. There's a time that Lewis Hamilton actually began at number 12, either number 12 or number 10. Yeah. I can't recall very well. But this is all about, I can say, team issues and team sheets and team preparations. That's the reason as why we are having now Hamilton, I think, coming back into the race. So winning the Canadian Grand Prix is good for him to actually bring back his spirits into Formula One and maybe go down and win something, because I was very happy when I saw him down watching the playoffs. I think the playoffs there were one thing that he needed to actually do or watch in order to put his mind a little bit off Formula One and maybe settle back to come down.
So
and perform
for you,
well in
McLaren
Canada.
are not going to defend the championship?
No, I don't think they will be defending the championships. Yes, they began very well. We have to keep an eye on the other drivers who are currently closing up
Team
on the gap.
championship or driver championship?
Both. I don't think if they'll win both. I really don't think if they'll win both. We still have a lot of races to go through, and I think there is a lot of competition this time, even though the leader is 12 points.
Ferrari,
yes,
or it's mainly Sebastian Vettel?
I will go with Ferrari. Ferrari could actually come down and give them a run for money this time. I don't really see McLaren and the rest actually winning this.
Okay, quickly into the French Open, the finals. Rafael Nadal, Stan Wawrinka into the finals. It was Switzerland against Spain, but the man who has dominated clay for 10 years, more than 10 years, I think it's 12 years. The first time, I think he won in 2005, and then 2017, 10 of them, 10 Grand Slams from one French Open is surely amazing.
Yeah. 10 championships, of course, for Nadal. I think
French Open.
French Open
2005,
yes.
20 to 20.
He actually said that this is the most important,
difficult.
the most important trophy for him.
So, Stan Wawrinka has never lost a final in a Grand Slam. What was the difference?
He's playing against the master of clay. He's playing against the master of clay. Like even before the championship got underway, I told you that this championship
is for Rafael
Nadal. I told you, because he's the master of clay, and he had just come from winning in Madrid. Was
Madrid
it Madrid?
Open,
yes,
Barcelona Open.
He had come from winning in Barcelona and Madrid, and actually comes and wins in France. So I told you, this belongs to somebody. It's just like a Real Madrid in the final. You know, it's like Jose Mourinho in the final. It was definitely.
So what's happening to
Nadal.
Djokovic? Agassi was in there just for the French Open. He's not clear. And not so long ago, it was Boris Becker who gave him, I think, about 4 or 5 Grand Slams. Then you switch corners to Agassi.
I think Djokovic is a little bit tired.
He's confused at the moment.
Tired, and it's now catching up with his head. He's just tired. He needs a little bit of rest. If I was him, I would actually have asked for a few tournaments out, just like what Roger Federer did.
You need the Grand Slams.
Roger Federer did not take part in this one, if you do remember.
It's clay court, that's why he didn't take part.
Yeah, but he decided to excuse himself. He's actually coming back, I think, in, did he say August or October? That's when he's coming back.
He'll be back for Wimbledon.
Yes, he will be back. So he just decided to excuse himself. So I think also Djokovic needs to excuse himself from some of these competitions to try and burn out the heat.
Santos, the Under-20 World Cup, we had Zambia, and we had so many hopes, because after evicting Germany, we were thinking, okay, African teams, here we are here to make the changes. And then all of a sudden, life was different. Playing against Italy, it was difficult. I think Italy won the playoffs. In the playoffs, they were third. But Venezuela in the finals was a huge surprise for me. And England winning 1-0. What a slim difference in goals that we had in the finals, yet we saw plenty of goals in the other playoffs.
For Zambia, Zambians are very unpredictable, actually, because last time against Italy, they scored a winning goal in 89 minutes. A winning goal in 89 minutes. They could not maintain that win. I think they added in 3 minutes. Then they conceded.
And then Italy scored the equalizer. It ended 2-2.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, it was different. Yeah.
So for Zambians, they have good players. Enoch Mweupe. Then they have Patson Daka. But to me, their goalkeeping side was I think the worst in this tournament. Venezuela, I think they reached here in this tournament in the finals. They had two crucial players. Panaleda, then also the goalkeeper, Farinez. I think I was not happy because Woodman.
They lost. They had a penalty that was missed.
Yeah, that is I think Penalado, their player. I think their best player at Venezuela. They had the best goalkeeping. Rather, their goalkeeper was one of the best. Farinez.
Yeah.
He's a young boy, very, very, very good. But of course, playing against England, they have quality. You see this Solanke. Actually, he has been a Chelsea player, but Liverpool bought him. Solanke is a very, very good player. Though yesterday he was outmarked, but cleverly scored. And they have another young player, actually an Arsenal star, is called Niles in the middle field. Then also the captain of England, called Lewis Cook. They are shut for. He's not supposed to be at Bournemouth, actually. I think he's supposed to be at Barcelona, maybe Manchester United or Arsenal. That boy is a very, very good boy. And also, their goalkeeper yesterday was on spot. Freddie Woodman, he actually won the best goalkeeper of the tournament. He saved that penalty. I think it was in the 85th minute. That would have been an equalizer for Venezuela. But of course, I want to say the English boys, they tried very, very much to make sure they bring hope, rather happiness to the English boys.
Yeah,
back to England.
I think the trophy that was actually won over the weekend is the first major trophy that England,
has won
since
in a while.
1966.
Yeah.
The last time that England actually won a major trophy was in 1966, the World Cup. So the under-20 is actually going on to win their first ever trophy, because you know the Germans had purely dominated this.
Yeah,
The made
yeah.
the Germans, the Argentines, the Spanish. That's where it was.
So wasn't it a surprise for you, Venezuela to be in the finals?
I was very surprised, but of course,
So youth football
Latin
is different
American
around
football,
Europe.
Latin America have actually dominated football. That's the reason as why you see Chile, Argentina, Brazil all play very well. Uruguay are playing very well. So the crop of young talent that actually plays football
From South America.
Is I can say blessed. It's very outstanding. These boys play good football, but you give the English credit for winning because they scored and defended. But I wasn't impressed with the entire football that actually were displayed by the English. And let me try and correct myself. Game number 5 of the NBA, I think, is on very early in the morning, 4 a.m. I think what I was watching was something else. So game number 5, 4 a.m. Tomorrow.
Okay, FIFA, new elected FIFA president who visited Uganda at some point this year, is strongly backing Qatar after claims by UAE, Egypt, Bahrain and Saudi Arabia saying that Qatar, they actually cut their diplomatic ties with Qatar, saying they have terror links in Doha and all that. But of course, FIFA president saying Qatar will have all these issues solved by 2022?
Well, I can say politically, this is an issue that needs to be sorted out domestically. We could reach a time where Egypt and the rest who have actually said that terror threats there in those countries may actually decide not to compete in qualifying for Qatar. But yes, it's an issue that needs to be sorted out, because if you look at Qatar, it's in the middle of these countries you're talking about, in the middle of these countries that have issues, from the Irans, the Saudi Arabias, all there. So Qatar is in trouble. But all in all, I think they're ready to host the World Cup. And let's wait and see. Maybe the terror can be sorted out.
So Arsene Wenger, the news around Arsenal, Alex Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, the best defender, I think, last season for me in the Premier League, Koscielny, having issues as well. I think he's probably, the heart is at Marseille and the legs and the hands are in England.
Yeah, for Arsenal, I still believe the best players will remain at Arsenal. That is me. Well, Man City is bringing, I think, 270,000 for Sanchez. Bayern Munich gave him 350,000.
But he will stay at Arsenal.
I know he will stay at Arsenal. For Koscielny, I think the last story is he's staying at Arsenal. So for the news on us, actually, the new signings, Wenger is talking with any good player, like he has always done that.
But then he ends up talking.
Last week, he was again actually on Mbappe. He will even talk on Messi anytime. So I'm not I'm not worried with Wenger. But I know at the end of the day,
he'll keep his best players.
He will go and sign Tadic from Southampton. He will go and sign Lucas Perez.
Tadic could actually be on his way to Liverpool.
Anytime he can break that deal, you don't know Wenger. So for sure, Wenger is someone, I don't know. But I believe in these 2 years that he has been awarded, maybe he's going to try and
this has been
something.
A very difficult contract for Arsene Wenger.
He knows he has no fan base home.
Yeah.
I mean, at Arsenal. He knows there is a percentage that is against him.
Okay, Morata. People talking about Morata joining Manchester
Yeah,
United.
he actually arrived.
Lindelof already.
Yes.
At Manchester United.
Yep.
A few players, Muppet, not yet joining the Premier League, but there might be assumptions here and there that he might be joining one of the teams in England.
Morata is already at Manchester for medical.
For medical.
So possibly he'll be joining.
So
by today.
Lindelof is already
done.
yeah.
Lindelof's already done. So yeah, Man United are trying to regroup.
Yeah.
And of course, Ibrahimovic has been let go.
You know, Mourinho, the reason why Man United fans wanted him, with Mourinho, you can even buy Messi and Ronaldo in one club. It is possible because I don't know how he convinces
For him,
his
he wants
bosses.
the best players,
Yes.
and that's it.
Yes.
Well, we are coming to the end of this edition of Sports Galore. Peter Otai, Santos, thank you so much.
Welcome.
You too will be here, including me, will be here next Monday for the same edition of Sports Galore. The producer of the show, Othman Sempe, our executive producer, Mr. Dean Chibirige. Thank you so much for making sure that we have Sports Galore every Monday. You, the viewers, that make sure that we are number one. Thank you so much for watching us. Quality programming is on next. Good afternoon.